You gotta say less, brother.
Yo, welcome to Taking Tabs Podcast. We are here live on Friday night. Coming a little bit later than usual. We're about 15 minutes late. But who gives a fuck? What is time? Time is
Taking tabs
construct.
is never
Just
late.
in the fucking wind.
Always
Pods
on
in the wind.
Yeah. Anyways, though,
Pissing
I was
in
just
the
talking
wind.
about
We are all.
Renee
My
would be
mom's
best.
got a bad
Yeah.
heart, man, you know. So
And she's also
be
batshit
safe,
crazy.
Be careful. Take it easy on her.
Oh shit!
Or don't.
That went a completely different direction than I thought it was gonna go.
He said she's got a bad heart. Take it easy on her.
Damn.
She could use...
Well, with all of this electric, so we're using. I feel like we're using more electricity now than we have ever used, ever. So
You could
I
say that
feel
about
like-
anything.
but
Just
I feel
saying,
like-
you could say that about
No, no, no.
anything.
true.
I'm following Nick.
Okay.
But I'm
But I
listening.
feel like there is a limit to the power grid.
Well, yeah, 100%.
And what if
As
this
Texas-
power grid
She failing.
just
Snaps.
stops?
Says, yeah, I'm
Are you
done.
asking what
It
if
has a heart attack.
what would actually happen, or what if what
But I'm
we,
just doing a
we
what if.
would do? But I'm saying what answer
so,
do you
so the
want?
power
what
grid
kind of
just
what if do you
completely
wanna
just
do?
shuts off. It's completely and it's unrepairable in the foreseeable future.
Okay, so like solar flare or something comes and just knocks it out, right? Fries,
type of EMP.
fries
A type
the
of EMP,
transformers.
yes.
Yeah,
What it will.
yeah. But I'm saying if it
So-
comes from the sun, if it's like solar wind, it's not blamed by anybody, so we're not going to war right now. The whole
Correct.
world is going through
So
this.
yes,
All right.
so
Oh, the whole world loses power.
yes,
Okay,
that's
the
what I'm
whole
saying. The
world.
whole
Okay,
power
alright,
grid,
that's
the whole thing.
7.
So what if
Electricity just ceases.
So-
would solar be able to still run if there was no
He's getting there.
Well, the problem is that the solar panels are connected to the transformers to
that feed
distribute
off
the
of some
power,
electricity?
and
So-
the
Yeah.
grid would be knocked
Here's
down.
my thing:
What you want?
Oh, my God.
windmills.
Appreciate it, bro.
Could we build enough windmills? If I don't fucking know.
Cars.
But they're always like, oh, you can't have your thermostat to this certain temperature. You're gonna fucking
But-
just drain the absolute dog shit out of the power grid. And I'm like,
Oh shit!
But what
I
about
didn't
the
even
whole?
think about that?
But what about the
Yeah,
whole thing
exactly,
of
Dan.
Joe
That's what I'm
Biden
saying.
just telling
They
everybody
even
like,
got that
oh,
far.
drive electric cars. Gas is getting pretty expensive. Looking to drive in electric cars. And I'm like,
That's a
what do
very
you
good
want,
point.
bro?
That's a
What
very,
do you
very good point.
government? What do you want from us? What do you want us to do here?
Well, okay, so I think
Total
that's
obligation.
why. Okay, but this is getting deep. But this is why there's such a big push for us to try to push more towards like solar.
renewable resources.
I mean, California has rolling brownouts, but Texas has complete
As
and
well
utter
do I.
shutdown
No, it's
blackouts for weeks at a time when it gets too hot or it gets too cold, which we are experiencing a lot of
Yes,
hot and cold like
Yes.
extremes, right?
yes,
And
especially this year.
Weather extremes, period, like hard storms, all that kind of stuff, more so than I think we did when we were younger, maybe.
Yes,
Just I
I
don't
felt like
know.
we actually
I
had
agree.
seasons when I was younger.
Yeah,
agree.
so-
agree.
I
It's
feel like we
it's
actually had
spring-
seasons.
It's like spring and fall.
It
very
felt
much.
like it was
It's
like,
more.
okay, this is getting a little bit hotter.
Right,
Okay, it's getting a little
we're
cooler.
turning.
a little bit hotter.
I joke around
we're
and
getting older.
I joke around and say all the time that like as the temperature goes up, the equator is going to expand, right?
Dude,
and then the
See,
middle,
I'm not crazy. It's actually gonna happen.
in the
sorry.
middle, it becomes like desert where the equator is. You know what I mean? But then above and below the equator, what is now like temperate
That's
zones
what they
would
call it,
become tropical zones,
Yeah.
and then places like where we live would be like tropical
Or not
rainy. You would have a rainy season
See,
and a
like
dry
Africa.
season.
It's not us that I'm so.
You wouldn't
concerned
have
about.
4 seasons. You would have because we're in the mountains and
It's
there's
about
water
those that are
region.
closer to
It's
the
the-
polar ice caps, the equator,
and the coast.
and exactly.
Yeah.
We're on the coast.
But
we're in a flood spot.
The
We're
other
in a bad
day, I
spot,
got home from work
even though we have the mountains on our back.
and went to go
ahead, Dan.
take a shower, and the power was off.
Mhm.
And the AEP email thing didn't really give no specific reason. So, and it said the estimated time was like 1 a.m. for it to be back on. So I didn't stay there.
Mhm.
And my dad texted me and said it's back on, and it was at like 10 o'clock. So what if they're starting to do the nav like
Dude,
for
dude.
5 hours a day? They're
No,
not going to
they
give you
do.
a reason
They
why they
throttle
turn the
them.
power
No,
off,
they-
but
no, no,
they
no,
start
they do.
limiting
No, no, no.
areas.
No, they do. They do
Yeah.
that already.
That's how
They
it
don't
works.
tell you. But that's
They have
part
a
of the
monopoly.
problem with the
They have
exactly
a
the
stupid monopoly.
here. Hold on. Anyways, though, I just realized when he was talking. Anyways, though, so John Oliver did the show about the electrical grid and how like it's monopolized to specific areas, and certain areas control like the all of the electrical output to that area, and they can set the price at whatever they want it to be.
It's ridiculous. California
and all that
has it
kind of
bad.
shit. Yeah, and they can limit the output because it might strain the system. So they can say, "Oh, this is a rural area, or only 5,000 people live here versus the 10,000 that live here. So we'll shut them down for 5 hours and let this shit catch up." And then turn
It
them
makes
back
sense.
on.
I've never even thought about this shit. till,
Right,
like,
and
how
then
it's
very
also
much.
This
it comes
happens
back
with the
on in the
internet.
middle of the
That's why
night
sometimes the
whenever
internet's
Yeah, that's what made me think about that
It's
kind of
throttled
shit.
your
You're
internet.
less
That's why
likely to
sometimes they
have
give you
your
less internet.
AC up high in the nighttime because it's cooler and all that kind of stuff. But in the daytime, it's getting to be like brutally hot outside.
It's
And they just did. I just was reading online. They just did a new test. Like in the 70s, they did this like humidity, like heat index test with the humidity to like see what a human could like withstand for how long and that kind of stuff, so they could set like safety regulations and stuff like
Right,
that.
for it's different.
Well, they just redid that test, and they're saying that the original time they were really like pushing people to the brink and saying that was okay, but now they're like it's like I think it said like 92.4 degrees with 100% humidity.
It's about all
Even
a
a
human can stand.
fit adult human shouldn't be out there for
Like
more than an
Olympian,
hour.
like an Olympian.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to push myself through that heat, train yourself to embrace
Yeah,
there's so
the
much
heat.
training you can do though, man.
Well, yeah,
I feel
but
like
your
Flannels in the
body's-
you
summertime.
can never
Your body's
adapt to
gonna-
the heat. You
yeah,
can only
your body's
tolerate
gonna
it
shut
so
down.
much,
Beat
and
that
your
heat.
tolerance.
But
you
to
can
be
only-
fair,
I mean, it's just. I feel like it's just like smoking. Your tolerance is either like once you're in it, you have a higher
Yeah.
tolerance, or you can be in it for a little bit longer, but it's still the same. It still
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
Indeed.
Well,
Indeed.
yeah, yeah.
Indeed. Good
but
point.
Will just said that he was talking about if they let more nuclear plants get built, and I agree with that. But if they also funded like research on solar and renewable resources instead of just dumping all
I'm
of
gonna bring
our
Richard on the stream.
all
You
of
got to.
our
I would love to
Richard,
hear him
Richard.
talk. Dude, yes.
all of
Richard,
our
I would love to
money
see- hear
into
that guy
fucking
talk.
paying the oil barons in the Middle East and in the United
Dude.
States. And I can tell you right now, it's because
Not
the
on-
fucking
not on
big
camera.
oil put the money in the pockets of the people fucking writing the laws and said to push it our way because we want to make more money.
Yep.
And those guys were like, cool, we like cash and checks too. Let's cash checks
Capitalism.
together. Capitalism, yeah.
Welcome to America.
And speaking of that,
This
if we
is
can stay on a minorly
No
serious
hinges, let me know.
topic.
Oh, I kind of like
Let's
this.
do it.
Yeah, I'm still
Um,
on this electrical stuff.
So okay, so we all know that the Senate just reversed,
Oh,
or not
shit,
the
hang
Senate,
on.
the Supreme Court just reversed Roe versus Wade, right? We all know that,
Overturned a precedent case
Right.
in America's history.
and then they turned around and they ruled that if teachers want to lead their students in prayer, that they're allowed to.
Yeah, USA kind of fucked up.
Okay, so that's
But-
bad.
It's okay.
And then
So
they
confusing.
ruled that no matter what the state says, people have the right to concealed carry. So in places like New York City, where
I
you're
read
not
about that
allowed
getting-
to
I read about
concealed
that
carry,
getting
you're allowed
overturned.
to now.
Yeah.
Just with no permit.
Dude, they
Yeah.
so
You
I
could just go around with a gun?
New York City,
I agree
bro.
that you
Yeah.
could. I agree that
In
you can
New
conceal carry. Maybe if you
York.
live in like an area like we do. But if you live in like a
No, I
big
mean-
ass city,
Well, that's the
like
thing. In most
Chicago,
metropolitan
New
where
York,
the
areas,
crime
they
rate is-
limit
It's,
it.
it's
LA.
ridiculous, like 30, 40%.
I don't
True
think
to
you should
roof
conceal
every
carry.
day.
I don't even think you should have a single fucking weapon in your hand
So-
in those big ass cities. Because
Yeah.
that's
Go
where the
get me
biggest
a
crime
strap.
rates are.
So
Exactly.
anyways,
I mean, I'm just.
New York's prime example.
so anyways, if
spitballing.
this is three cases that have went,
Yeah.
if we can all
I
agree
get
at a
what you're getting at,
consistent,
D. Yeah,
went
get
the
to it.
wrong way.
Yeah.
They just agreed to see this next case. It's like Pennsylvania and North Carolina versus I can't remember what it is exactly.
What?
But anyways, the whole idea, if I can put this in normal, like
Layman's
easy to
terms, as
understand
they say.
layman's terms, it would if they agree with what this lawsuit is saying, then when it comes to a presidential election, the state Congress that is elected by the people, they can forego what the popular vote in the state says and choose where the electoral votes go with no like backing of the people. You know what I'm saying?
So they overturned an election thing too.
They not yet. This
But for
case is
future
about to be
elections,
this
there's
case
gonna be a new
right.
rule
So
in the game for all
even
things.
though there's a
Out in the
million
sticks.
people that live in the city, because they all live in this small area, they're all voting for the same thing. So their voting power when it comes to the whole state and the whole country doesn't go as far, even though there's more people living there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you have the state that decides. The majority population, we don't agree with what they voted for. They want this person to be the president, and us as the elected officials think that it should be the other person.
Yeah.
So we're going to put our electoral votes in for the other person instead of what the popular vote is. And if the Supreme Court allows that to go through, then as soon as a group of people that are willing to abuse their power are in power, will abuse that power
And stay
immediately and stay in power long after the people don't want them to, will be in a false democracy just like Russia's in, where they have elections.
But they don't
But
count.
it doesn't matter because Putin's going to get elected every time.
Yep.
But they still have elections because the world thinks that
This
it looks
is a
good to
Russian
have.
thing, not an
No,
American
dude,
thing.
No, this is happening. This is about to happen in America,
But it's
depending
happened a
on
bunch other places
depending
there.
how this Senate case. If the Senate rules in
Worst case he's
favor
talking about.
of the people suing the country, then that is literally going to be the day that American democracy dies.
People are suing
American
the government.
democracy has been dead.
Yeah,
No,
it's
dude,
falling
it's
apart.
not quite dead yet. We are dying, but this will be the
It's
nail
crooked as dick.
in the
Nail in the
heart.
coffin.
My
Yeah,
dick is
That's
like
gonna
I
that.
feel
kill
like
it.
once you don't have a true American democracy, it's not a democracy anymore.
And we know about the electoral.
But I'm
college
saying
and
it
how that
still
sways the
technically
way it
is. I
does.
mean, the
Let's take
popular
back the
vote
White House,
pushed
you know?
for Joe Biden, and he won, even though Trump and
Part
them we're
two.
seeing now try to overthrow the
Part
election.
due.
But, anyways, though, so just keep your eyes out on that because
I'm
I'll
about
be
to follow-
honest
I'm
with
about to follow
you.
that.
Do you think another insurrection thing will happen?
100%.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
Shit.
Dude, we're about
What
to
if
be
everybody
in Civil
just said
War
we're
2.0.
tired of being
Yeah, I heard that.
America being like crooked and we all just
Yeah,
march
Bill, exactly. We
all as
Well,
one?
they said
against-
literally.
You know, if we all the people win
Dude,
as
they're
one
about to
against
do
the
this
government,
massive riot about the
Roe versus Wade.
in Lynchburg.
Dude,
this is
it's
going to be a
getting worse.
lot of
Really,
bull
Nick?
dykes.
Dude, it's
Just
gonna be.
It's
fucking-
gonna
Well,
be
I'm
from
just
like
saying,
5 to
there's
7 p.m., but I bet you it's gonna be a fucking all-out
be a
brawl.
lot of-
there's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of
Hairy
shit
armpit
No,
lesbians.
it's gonna be
in the next few
And
years,
riot
dude.
gear.
In the next few years, dude, riots are gonna be
Do you remember-
way more common.
remember
They're
that
gonna
Pride
happen
Month
all over
anymore,
the
man.
place.
Dan, you
They
remember-
go back
People are
into
gonna
their
get
holes.
bad. Things are gonna get dangerous.
Was it
in the
that
next few
Charlottesville
years,
one?
the streets are gonna be shit.
Was that Trio? Remember, was it the Charlottesville one happened? Dylan, was it Fayetteville? No,
Yeah, no, that was Charlottesville.
Charlottesville, yeah. I remember. Mike,
Yeah, all the
remember Mike
Nazis
was
and
watching.
KKK
I
people,
remember
yeah.
Mike had it on the TV and whatnot. And I was like, we don't need to be watching shit at work. Just remember.
Dude, I watched the insurrection live on TV at work because I was like, I can't believe this shit is
Oh
happening
yeah,
right now.
touche.
I was at my mom's. We always be like glad to say I was able to see that.
Well, that's what they said.
People were
Just
getting
now
fucked
going on
up,
trial.
and it
Dude,
was
it was
all
my
ha-
second day
trial
at
for it.
work when that happened.
Well, no,
And
who's-
everybody was watching the TV, and I was like, what the
your
fuck?
second day of
What's
work
going
at
on?
the
Well, I
White
mean-
House.
who said it? I can't remember
That
who
would be
said it, but
wild.
somebody said it in like the '60s. Like like the revolution will be on live TV or something.
the
like
revolution
that.
will
like,
be televised.
Yeah. I can't remember who
Dude,
said
a lot
it.
of different
but
people have
yeah.
said that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
remember-
there's an original quote.
Oh yeah,
a lot of
guys
people
see
I've heard a lot of
where-
artists say
Was
that.
that the
but I don't know
Beatles
who
or
said
something?
Did you
that.
guys see
Well,
where
I
some of the
think
people that
some-
were
John Lennon.
involved in that
Maybe.
were actually given like tours to the people that
Dude,
were that
one of
actually
the
rioted
fucking
into
senators was giving tours and
That's-
taking pictures, and he is up right now. He was posted by, you know who, to be the White
old
House
DT.
security chief, the guy that was giving
Oh.
tours. I don't know if you saw the
That's
video
wild.
of that
Holy
of the
shit.
fucking Proud Boys coming in
the
there
rabbit hole.
in stack formation, fucking like goddamn military people trying to get right to the front line, and it came out day before yesterday that during the speech that Donald Trump gave,
Have you been watching the trial stuff?
I've been
for
watching
this?
the
Yeah, I was
highlights.
gonna say, I haven't.
I
haven't
don't
watched
watch
too
the
much
whole
of it.
thing, but
heard
I've watched
this
the
shit is
highlights.
Juicy as
It's
fuck.
It is,
yeah,
it
dude.
is.
It's the dirt.
So during like when Donald Trump gave his speech at the Ellipse out in DC the day of the insurrection, when he was like,
When
"We're
he was
gonna march
riling
down,"
everybody up.
right? So right before he went on, somebody told him, they were like, these people won't come in because they have to go through this metal detector, and they called them mags. It's like a metal something, I can't remember. And they were like, they won't come through here because they all have weapons and they know that they'll take the weapons away from them.
Right.
And he said, okay, then take the fucking mags away because I don't care if they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me.
Oh shit!
That's literally
Donnie
word for word
T.
what he
No,
said.
no.
Yeah.
The biggest mobster ever.
I heard that.
What a
second
that's
promotion.
a Joker move right there. Like
That's another level.
that the Joker was president.
You're right.
He's like, oh, they ain't here to hurt me. They're gonna fucking kill you. Fire them up some more.
Well,
Give
I mean-
them more weapons. You get a gun.
And
you
then-
get
Get
a
a
gun.
gun.
You get a
Well,
gun.
then-
He's just shooting random.
Well, then when he got in the car, after the
my.
speech, when everybody
God
started
bless.
marching towards the Capitol building, when he got in the fucking like the secret security vehicle, he told the driver to go to the Capitol building, and the driver was like, "No, we're going back to the West Wing, like to the White House." And he was like, "No, we're going to the fucking Capitol building." And he was like, "No, we're going to the fucking White House."
Pence and
No,
Trump
it
arguing?
was Trump and his one of the Secret Service.
And he wanted to go
drivers.
to the Capitol building.
he wanted to be there with the people to fucking keep them going and not stop. Because if he was there, like take them down, they
Like,
would have
walking
been.
amongst them. They would have been marking out for him like it
Oh
was
my
Ric
God!
Flair
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Oh,
man.
people would have
Like
been
a-
throwing themselves on grenades. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Oh,
no.
God, what a story. Like what a heel story.
Agreed.
Jesus.
Could have
Agreed.
been.
Exactly,
What
and that's
could've
the
I
thing
like
is
that
that, dude, and that's the thing is that there's video of this one like black security officer that was like was like fucking not fighting them because he didn't actually swing, but he was like posturing with them, and they were like chasing him, and he was backing up, and he looks behind him, and he's going up these stairs, and he's like, keep going, just run, and he's like backing up these stairs, but he was leading them away and pretending like there was like senators
Other
and
people
shit.
up there of importance.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and they were
But
following
they were
him,
already
but they
like
were
diversioning.
exactly,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how if it wasn't for this one guy, people
Might
would have
been up there just
congressmen
within a
would have
split.
died. Yeah,
I remember they were saying Pence was like
40
man,
feet
fuck
away.
This shit.
He was 40
and
feet
all
away.
these other people, there was camera footage of them going down the steps while people were literally like coming up the other side of the
Yeah,
building. Like yeah,
Mob status.
It was literally
'Cause they said
this
they could-
close.
they
dude.
said they
That's
could
some
hear
White
him.
House down
this
shit.
fucking
Yeah.
close, dude. This
Yeah.
close.
He said they said they could hear him just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
God.
he's not he's a cartoon character.
but that's a problem
I know it is.
because you don't want a
We,
cartoon.
no, that's what I'm
character
saying. He's
to
like
be
a
the
bad
leader
guy
of the
from a
free
comic
world.
book.
No, exactly.
That's why I said
Like
when
yeah.
I could picture him amongst the people, like you said, just behind him, like a game of fucking,
It's like that
Oh,
one, kill
a
it,
game of
bring him in.
Risk.
They're just like.
like a game of Risk.
They're like, look, we brought this one's the Democrat from Iowa, and he's just
Oh,
like,
and he
kill him.
stabs him
I'm
in the throat
Nevada.
himself. They bring him out to Trump, and he's like,
He's just like, kill him.
no, not the executioner's act.
Dude, I'm really digging the freedom
exactly.
and-
Shout
In
out to us talking
progressiveness,
about
we
this
should
stuff.
push
and
forward.
financial freedom.
We should push, but I'm saying we as a society,
Good to
should
wish,
be
Nick.
pushing
Wishful
forward and like
Yeah.
innovating
I think
and
our
stuff like
financial
that.
freedoms are coming.
You know what I mean? Like we
we'll segue
should
into that
be
next.
pushing for change and
What's
like
the bank gonna
and
do?
fixing things. You know what I mean? Imagine if our societal mindset was the same societal mindset that was around at the turn of the century of like 1900, whenever people were inventing cars.
Oh,
They would have
they-
been like,
on the
if we build cars, then the people that breed horses will go out of business. We can't do that. So let's stop the creation of cars because we got to keep these horse fuckers.
You horse fucker.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it was like, no, bring something new. Let's change the market. Let's change the game.
bring
But
something
now
else
it's like
into it.
somebody brings something new and they're like, oh, if people really like that, then this company will probably go out of business.
Well,
so
see,
let's not fucking do
I
that.
feel
Exactly.
we're falling back. People are more falling
Bro,
back into
history
being.
always repeats itself.
No,
Dude,
this is what I
always.
was about to say, Nick. Literally,
We're walking the literal, I mean, fucking step for step line of Nazi Germany in the 1930s.
here's what I was
I
gonna
shit
say.
you not.
That's a
between everybody and cell phones and everything, I feel everybody's going back into being more not intelligent.
dude,
And
we're
they're
being
dumbed down.
We're being dumbed
Yeah.
down.
So-
Dumbed down
We've been doing that
to
since we were
being
kids,
to
bro.
susceptible
We was
to
born into
anything,
this.
from monkeys back to just like
Well, Well, they were saying like they were
The
showing.
files are in the computer.
They were showing.
Like Zoolander.
Yeah, dude, that great color. And the best part is it's one of those old colorful Macs.
Yeah.
These things were so cool.
Dude.
I wanted one of those
They
so fucking
even
bad.
had the handle on the top where you're like, oh, I'm going somewhere. Boop, and like,
Yeah, right.
can you help me pick my MacBook up, bro?
But no, dude, I swear to God. So I was reading some of the parallels between what's going on in our country right now and what happened in Germany in the 1930s.
They fucked with it.
The minority party, which was the National Socialist Party, which became the Nazi Party. They took minority power in the like House and Congress of what was Germany. I think it was like the parliament or whatever. While they were in power, they stacked the courts with judges that leaned in their direction. They gave important jobs to like sympathizers and people that were loyal to their cause. And then they managed to get enough votes within the parliament to elect Hitler as the chancellor.
Okay.
Right. And then the moment he came into power, that's whenever he was like, now we're going to disband Parliament.
He disbanded him, and then he formed his own.
Right, and he changed it. He changed the government completely. They had
Exactly.
one government.
We
One
talking
man.
Big H?
Yeah, he had one government. But I'm saying
He's just one
the
example,
way
too.
his party went, like I said, they stacked the courts, and they gained minority power, and they were able to hold minority power because once they had it, they changed the rules to allow minority power to be more powerful. And once the rules were changed, the game could no longer be played. You know what I'm saying?
Boom.
It's
History's written by.
And then, because since we're streaming again tomorrow,
Well, yeah. I figured we was just going to go ahead and put a pin in this bitch soon anyway.
well, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think we had a
Hour and
very
13
It was-
strong.
intellectual conversation.
Yeah,
We had
actually
a
light-
touch of everything.
different.
We didn't
We touched
talk
gun
about
control.
dicks and farts as much as usual.
Yes. Actually, I got an
Maybe.
extra one.
And we'll talk about that off the air.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Good
Appreciate y'all
night,
coming out.
sexy
Good night,
people.
everybody.